because that's not Boston.
No,
you know?
I don't have much of a Boston accent.
Okay. Hello, sports fans. This is Nomah, back with another card opening video for your entertainment. And as you can see, we are in Atlanta, Georgia at Cards HQ, aka Mecca, probably the most famous card shop in the United States. Geoff is here. I just talked to him. He said he's willing to do a short interview for the channel, so I'm super excited about that. We're gonna go inside and check out some cards and talk to Geoff. I'm so glad you're here with me on this journey. Okay guys, so as we enter the store, we're going to go immediately to our right and check out all of the Lorcana and Pokemon stuff. That's not my cup of tea. It's just never really grabbed me. I was never into that, but I know a lot of people really love it. So I just at least want to give you an idea of just the sheer volume of product that Geoff and his team have. If you are interested in Pokemon or Lorcana, I really recommend going to the store because as you can see just from my very brief walkthrough here, there is just a ton of stuff. And I, by the way, am recording the audio after the fact because they did have some music playing in the background and I don't want to get a copyright strike. Over here we have the Breaker Studios, both the professional ones that Cards HQ uses, as well as amateur ones that you can use if you want to do a break in the store, plus a huge lounge with big screen TVs. They've got value bins. You all know that I'm a big fan of a store where I can get a card for $1 or I can get a card for $10,000. Not that I would spend $10,000 on a card, but you get my meaning. And they have everything, all kinds of supplies, stands, sleeves, everything you could possibly want. Baseball, basketball, football, hockey, everything. But again, our focus is on baseball cards on this channel, so we start with that. We're going to come back to some of these higher end cards, but this just gives you an idea. And the vertical display cases, as opposed to having everything in a big case you have to look down at, having stuff at eye level is so cool. Geoff talked about that in one of his previous videos, and he talked about it in the upcoming interview that I did with him, which you definitely want to stick around for, that he was inspired to do this by visiting card shops in Japan. And to my knowledge, this is the only American card shop that does it. Here's the PSA graded section. They have some BGS stuff and some SGC grade product as well, but it's almost all PSA. Then they've just got the mother load of sealed wax. It is insane, including the latest drop, Top Scrum Basketball. They've got vintage basketball. Again, they've got all 4 major sports. They've got vintage baseball as well, which I didn't grab any of because I'm traveling and I didn't have a lot of extra space in my bag. But they've also got high-end, newer product, including, if you're feeling flush, you could grab a Panini Flawless case, which I've never done because I'm not into Panini, and I don't have that much money to spend on a single box. But if you were so inclined, you could. Then they've got Heritage, which is my favorite product, and those hobby boxes, by the way, are 50 bucks each, which is super reasonable. Not seeing a big retail markup in Geoff's store. He talked a little bit about that. It's just good prices on everything. I did go home with that Beam Team Pete Alonso. Just the incredible amount of cool singles, really again in every price range, is really hard to quantify. I was really blown away. In the interest of time expediency, because Geoff was very generous with his time and gave us a nice long interview, I cut a lot of this tour. There's the Yoshi that we were trying to pull when we did our Walgreens blister repack video recently. But there's just so much. And look at this. Babe Ruth. Insane. Bat relic. And the Shohei Button relic. Auto out of Inception. Just ridiculous cards. Chris Bryant bat barrel. Are you kidding me? I've never seen this kind of high-end Babe Ruth pinstripe. Pee Wee Reese cut auto and bat barrel in the same card. I've never seen this much high-end product at any store. Most stores would love to have 1 or 2 of these cards. That would be their showpiece. But Geoff, unsurprisingly, has really gone for it, and it's just an unbelievable assortment. Shohei rookie short print we just passed by. We passed by a Pete Alonso 1/1 gold from Topps Now, which I was very tempted by but decided not to grab. You'll see in the next video what I did grab. It was pretty epic what I got, both what I got for singles and also the wax that I did buy. We got a hot box, so you'll definitely want to check out the next video. Just Evan Carter World Series card. Those are to 25. The amazing Crawford 1/1 relic. Corbin Carroll on card auto. Bobby Witt Jr. on card auto. short print Jackson Holiday image variant. This is literally maybe 20% of the total cool cards that they had there. And let's go into the vintage stuff. Oh my, look at that high grade vintage mantle. Insane. Where else can you find cards like this? I'll give you the answer in my Boston accent. Nowhere. They don't exist. The Babe Ruth cut auto. Give me a break. I could easily have spent $50,000 in here if I had $50,000 to spend and gotten cards I wanted. I don't just mean that I could spend it. I mean on stuff that's attractive that I want, including this Japan Series Jackie Robinson ticket stub. Never seen that before. That's insane. That's ridiculous. Satchel Paige, reasonably high grade, 3.5. The Willie Mays autographs, including the real one auto out of Heritage. The Teddy Ballgame, just ridiculous. Insane, insane, insane selection. As you can tell, I really like this store. This is my favorite store that I've ever been to. And there are some stores that I've been to in my travels that I really liked. And you guys have seen some very effusive videos from me before. But this was the top of the heap. And we haven't even gone over from the vintage to the pre-war, which is what we're going to be checking out in a second. And then we'll take one last swing through some of the graded stuff, and then we'll talk to Geoff. But I just couldn't believe it. Just banger after banger after banger. Something for everybody. Graded, ungraded. Here's the pre-war stuff. Just insane. How about a 1938 Red Sox card? I was tempted by that one for sure. I almost bought that one. I don't really even know how I got out of there without having a nervous breakdown, because I had a budget. It was a pretty generous budget, but I could have spent a lot more. How about a $2,300 Paul Skenes purple refractor auto in a 10? Or if you need a little lower budget, $1,000 card. How about a black chrome Trout rookie card for you? How about a 1-of-1 Carlton Fisk Superfractor? Just ridiculous. I'm not really into graded cards, but some of the graded cards were so good. So good. Including that Julio color match. How do you like that one, Robbie? Colt Keith green refractor. Trout PSA 10 rookie. Mookie Betts image variation rookie. The pearlescent Jackson Holiday. So gorgeous. Just one hit after another. That one I did have to get, so you'll get a closer look at that one in the next video that I do. That card is insane. That card is ridiculous. I literally could not leave without that. My favorite player, the polar bear. Raffy, auto. Yeah, just then the negative refractor, Raffy rookie. I mean, I run out of superlatives after a while. This store was so dialed in. So dialed in. So many great cards. I have this card, this gold Shohei from Big League. I believe there's only 50 of this one. So it's kind of cool to get a current read on the price. Then we had a couple of Shohei Topps Now rookie cards that I had never seen before. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. That one on the left is a Mother's Day. And I did just want to mention the Market Movers app, which is another of Geoff's inventions and contributions to the hobby, which gives us real-time prices of recent sales. They have these kiosks in the store, so you can scan the barcode of whatever you're interested in, and you can see how their price compares with recent sales. And the recent sales, Geoff talked about this, are generally quite accurate to the prices in the store. If you want to scan this QR code, you can, but also Teapot gave us another code which we can use. It gets you guys an even better deal, which is DIVE. And that's going to give you 2 weeks free, but then it's 20% off after that. So you just have to decide for yourself which is the better deal long-term for you. But I definitely recommend Market Movers. Just one last look around the shop before we talk to Geoff. It is such an incredible place. I cannot recommend more highly that you go there. All right, Nomah Nation. We are here with Geoff Wilson, founder of Cards HQ. Geoff, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us.
Absolutely.
And absolutely love your shop and love everything you do and your channel. Thank you so much for all the positivity that you add to our hobby.
Thank you.
I'm sure that many people that are fans of my channel are even bigger fans of yours. So thank you so much.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
So tell us a little bit about Cards HQ.
Yeah, so we opened up February 1st of this year. So we're a little bit over 6 months in. It's been a fantastic first year. I wanted to do a card shop for some time, but I also knew that I had to have really good partners, because that's a totally different business than, being in the content business or being in the digital app business, which is, what our businesses at Sports Card Investor have been. So I teamed up with a couple of card entrepreneurs here in Atlanta who were actually thinking about opening up their own card shop. Their names are Carter and Ryan, and said, hey, why don't we go in on this together? But my vision is wanting to do something really big and wanting to do something that, in my opinion, raises the bar for card shops. And there's other great card shops out there across the country, but we wanted to put our own spin on it, and we wanted to bring a large format, a modern design, do some different things with interactive elements in the store to make it an experience, like our area where people can open their own cards and it streams on YouTube. We call it our Breaker Arena. The vertical displays, which I was inspired by, being in Japan, and also have a ton of area for trading, for trade nights, for trading card game tournaments. I wanted to make it a kind of a whole experience for anybody who is into cards. And I feel like we've accomplished that. Obviously, we want to continue to get better, and we want to continue to add more inventory and do more events and continue to make the experience better and better. But I think we're off to a great start.
Awesome. Well, I would say you have succeeded greatly, because this is the best shop I've ever been in.
Thank you.
It's just really impressive. What's been an unexpected challenge with getting the shop off the ground?
Inventory is a challenge for card shops, and we have gotten better at that, but we still don't have quite the full selection of inventory that I would like. So, there's two primary types of inventory. One is cards and one is sealed products. In terms of sealed products, when we first started, we weren't getting nearly the allocation we needed from the manufacturers. So our sealed product area looked pretty barren. We still, to this day, don't have sealed product direct from Panini, so we don't have a ton of Panini products. Topps, thankfully, has been really good at working with us, and they have seen our sales numbers, and they have visited the store, and they see what we're trying to do. So we've been getting more and more allocation from Topps. It's still not to the extent that I would like, but it is enough to at least have a good assortment of new products as they come out. The other side of it is cards, and it takes a lot of work to buy a high volume of cards. And a lot of the business model of our shop is oriented around cards. Some card shops, it seems like they're more focused on selling sealed product, and the single selection is somewhat limited and oftentimes kind of overpriced. We wanted to price all of our singles around recent comps. We wanted to price them all as fairly as we could. A lot of them are right at recent comps. Of course, sometimes we price it and then the market moves up or down. Sure. So they're not always right at recent comps, but when we price them and put them out, they're always within about 5% of recent comps when we put them out, on the show floor for the first time. And we wanted to do that because we wanted to make it where people could come in and buy a card and feel like they were getting a fair deal, and not have to negotiate on all the cards like you do at a lot of card shops. And we just wanted to kind of price fairly from the start. So, but as a result of that, we've sold a lot of cards, and which is great, but it's also hard to keep that many cards in inventory. So yeah, we've had to go, we obviously buy every day in the shop, but we've also had to travel to card shows all over the country to buy in high volume at card shows. We're at a card show at least every other weekend, somewhere in the country, whether it be, we get all the Dallas shows, Chantilly, Philly. We were just at Fanatics Fest. Of course, the National is a huge opportunity for us. All the Burbank shows we go to. And then we go to some smaller regional shows as well. The Nashville card show, we hit all of those. That's a big one for us. And then any other card shows that pop up in the Southeast. Collecticon is a good show for us, especially more from the trading card game side, and they have those all over the nation. So our guys are busy. They're on the road at least every other weekend, if not every weekend, hitting card shows to buy cards.
What's been an unexpected delight or joy that you've gotten from having the shop?
The biggest thing for me has been the families that have come in. We have a ton of families. I wanted it to be a very kid-friendly shop, and it has, thankfully, that has resonated. If you come in, especially if you come in on the weekend, of course, you're going to see a lot of fathers and sons, and you're going to see some mothers and sons, and you're going to see some mothers and daughters and fathers and daughters as well, which is awesome to see. But that family connection is super cool. We've seen some grandfathers and grandsons. We've seen some, grandfathers, fathers, and sons. We've seen multi-generation come into the shop together and then have the experience of walking up and down the aisles and looking at cards together, talking about the players, maybe telling some stories, maybe grandpa's looking in the vintage section and telling a story of, when he saw Willie Mays play or whatever that might look like. But that's a cool thing because cards, in my opinion, first of all, it's a great way to keep kids engaged and not on devices, not on screens, but to have something for them to do that interests them and that engages their mind and is a communal experience that they can share with other people. So that's cool. And then the other part I really love about it too is I think cards are a great way for kids to learn a lot of important traits in life, from negotiating to, presenting themselves and speaking to somebody else, to, money and value and trading. You get a little bit of finance, you get a little bit of entrepreneurship, you get a little bit of business, you get a little bit of, public speaking, you get a little negotiation, all wrapped into the experience of buying and selling and trading cards. And so I think it's just a real valuable learning platform for kids to help prepare them. And so I'm always encouraged when with the turnout we've seen from families. It's been awesome.
Yeah, that connection between people is one of the great things about this hobby, and I'm not surprised that that's been the thing you've enjoyed the most. Certainly what I enjoy the most. Any advice for someone thinking about starting a card shop?
Yeah, it's, I would start the groundswell first by dealing at local card shows, building a presence on social media, maybe building a presence on YouTube. That's a little more work, but I would do that first. We obviously were in a really advantageous position when we started this shop because we had a very large following on social and on YouTube, and that was huge for us. We knew that the day we opened up our doors that we'd have a large swath of people who knew about the shop and wanted to come in, and that's been the case. That was really important. I think that obviously not everybody is going to have that type of following, and that's fine. But I think it's important to have some groundswell of interest and experience before you actually open up the brick and mortar. So I would suggest be real active at card shows, build connections, build your social media, and then get it to a point where you've got enough connections. The other thing too is when it comes to sourcing inventory, you're going to not you're probably not going to get direct accounts from any of the manufacturers off the bat when you open up a shop. I could say you certainly will not get direct accounts from any manufacturer when you open up the shop. So how do you make that work? Well, relationships with other dealers, friendships can really help. And so, being active at card shows, building relationships with other dealers, with other card shop owners, and then, building some audience as well. I think those are kind of important prerequisites.
Fantastic. Do you have time for one more question?
Sure.
Okay. So for someone who's thinking about starting a YouTube channel based around sports cards, or someone like me who has a smaller mid-sized channel, you obviously are a huge leader and pioneer in this space. What advice would you have for someone who's trying to grow their presence on YouTube around sports card content?
I think there is a continued thirst for educational, helpful content. And I would take the kind of here's how I did it, style of it. And you can start small. It doesn't have to be anything. You don't have to be some, preeminent expert in this. I certainly wasn't when I started. But, how to, hey, I just did a grading submission. Here's how I did it. I just got the cards back from our grading submission. Here's what they came back at, right? people like those basic topics. Here's how I found a really good deal on a card on eBay. Here's how I set up a table at my local card show and what worked for me and what didn't. Those types of videos, give value back to the audience. And there's so many new people continuing to stream into the hobby today, and they need education and they need guidance. And you know, there's still opportunity for that. That space, in my opinion, is not overly crowded. There's still opportunity to do really good, helpful content. I would start there because that's also some of the easier content to produce. Like trying to do, you know, obviously we do a lot of card show vlogs and the trading videos and everything like that. That stuff is harder because it takes a video team. It takes that's hard to put together. Even if you're trying to do it yourself, like first person, the editing, I mean, you've experienced this, I'm sure, like the editing and everything, it takes a lot of time.
It does.
So, you know, figure out ways you can do it. You can kind of simplify it. It doesn't have to be the best production quality to start. Your audience will forgive you if the message is good and helpful. And just think about what's going to be, you know, useful to the audience and start there. And then you can build on it over time.
That actually reminds me of your comment about what you've enjoyed the most about your shop, which is the personal connection. That this hobby is all about the connections, and like when we were kids, trading with our friends, that's where it all started. And so adding value and just being of service in a way, you know, sounds like is important. And that's, I think, how you kind of got going was kind of showing people how to do what you do.
Yeah. Our content in the beginning was a bit different than what we do today. And actually recently, on our Market Movers channel, one of our other channels, we've kind of switched to going back to some of that, you know, hey, here's some basic education about sports cards content, and it's done really well for us, because it just is a reminder that the thirst is always there.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. You are such a pioneer in our hobby, and I know me and so many others are so grateful and thank you for all that you contribute. Do you want to tell us about your friend behind you before we
Yeah, so I'm a big USA basketball fan. Obviously, I had put the bounty out for that triple auto USA basketball card. And I did it for a reason. It wasn't just, you know, because it was a flashy card that I wanted to get. I did it actually because I'm a huge collector of USA basketball, and I have been for a long time. And so this is a game-used Charles Barkley jersey from the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. And then, you know, I've also got behind on the wall is the complete 1986 Fleer set with all of the cards autographed. And I picked that set because all the members of the 92 Dream Team, or many of the members of the 92 Dream Team, are in this set. And in fact, many of these cards are considered their rookie cards. So a lot of the 92 Dream Team guys had their rookies in 86 Fleer. So that's a really important set for, you know, USA basketball as well, right? And I've got a lot of other USA basketball stuff in my office.
And we're in the inner sanctum, and thank you so much for your time and for letting me come back here, because this is really cool and really inspiring. So very, very, very last thing, at the end of each of my videos, someone says, "This is so-and-so, you're watching Nomah Loves You." Would you be willing to do that?
Sure. This is Geoff Wilson from Sports Card Investor, and you're watching Nomah Loves Ya.
You're my guy. Thank you so much.